I knew I had the surfing to make heats, but I also didn't want to fake my surfing. I never will change my surfing because of the judges. I don't like the faking that turn was hard when it was a turn that I did in my way, like what I think surfing is so weird about. People have to surf the way the judges want to, not the way they want to.
The first time I saw Victor Bernardo surfing around Huntington Beach and Lowers was about 8 years ago, and it was memorable. Every year, every summer, seemingly every pro surfer around the globe would make their way through Southern California, probably for the US Open, or maybe just to meet with their sponsors. The impression that Victor left on me, the point of distinction from his peers, was style. He had all the ability, seemingly the same desire to win contests, but he seemed to be more conscientious of the way that he looked while doing it. And then I remember seeing a Hawaii edit, a couple of other little clips here and there on the web, but not nearly as much as I expected, and then nothing for probably 5 years or so. That was until a month or two ago when a friend mentioned Victor's name to me, and it jogged my memories. And I said, oh yeah, I remember him, QS Warrior kid flinging airs and stuff, right? And he said, yeah, but have you seen him surf lately? And I hadn't. He told me that Victor got dropped by a major sponsor, disappeared for a little bit of time, but then showed up at Lowers riding non-pointy thrusters and really has become the standout surfer at Lowers. So much so that that same sponsor actually came back and tried to re-sign him. Then I saw Victor surfing for myself, and I asked a little bit more about his backstory. And as I got more information, I figured that if I was going to get to know Victor, I might as well record the conversation. So here, I'll share it with you. My name is David Scales, and this is my introduction to perhaps your new favorite surfer, Victor Bernardo. Enjoy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the invite, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
And yeah, let's get this going.
Let's do it. Let's start with where are you from?
I'm from Guarujá, a little town close by the ocean. By the ocean, not close. In São Paulo.
Okay.
Big city. Not the big city, we say São Paulo, but people think it's the big city, but it's right on the beach, and that's where I grew up. And yeah, I come from a poor community. If it wasn't for surfing, I don't know what I would be doing, And yeah, surf changed my life.
Really?
It really did.
What do people do in the community then to make money? Like, what's the industry?
They work, like it's just people that don't make much money, like they come from poor community. Some people become athletes. I have a really good friend I went to preschool with. He's a huge soccer player, Some others are in prison, some are dead, and yeah, it's just like a group of people, not a group, it's like you call it a little community because it's a lot of people, but a lot of people that don't have a future, like I don't know how I would say, they don't have many opportunities, but also you got to make your opportunity to happen, you got to reach out to people. You got to make it happen for you to be able to get out there and whatever it takes, If you really want to achieve your dreams, you got to work for it. But also my family really helped me. My dad is really on point on what I do and what I shouldn't do, and who I'm with. And that really helped. And I'm really glad that my dad did that to me and my family. And I started surfing when I was 4 because of my dad and my uncle, brother, my whole group of friends. Like I said, some are in prison, some are dead. But it is what it is. So I started surfing when I was 4, competing when I was around 6, when Ademir, one of the guys that was like a coach, he's like a coach in the town. And he saw me surfing. He told my dad that I should be competing, which I did for, I don't know, majority of the time of my, I'm here not competing anymore. But my whole life I competed, and that's what got me out there. And didn't really have like crazy gnarly results. I had like a few that I can list, and it felt good, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 25 right now.
Okay. You talked about people didn't have opportunity. Was surfing an actual opportunity? Was there a way to make a living off it when you were coming up? Were there people making a living off of it?
Oh yeah, there were so many people that I looked up for. Looked up?
Yeah, looked up to.
Yeah, exactly. Looked up to. Sorry, my English is a little
No, it's all good.
rusty. Yeah, a lot of people I looked up to, and they were professional surfers. They are professional surfers nowadays still, but they had the life that I always wanted, you know, traveling the world, surfing perfect waves, doing contests, which I don't do anymore, but it feels better that way. And I always watched movies, and that's what got me most excited. I had a big old poster of Kelly Slater on my wall.
Which poster?
It was,
or which image?
It was him doing a turn, wearing a white board short. He wasn't bald at that time.
Is it at Sebastian Inlet?
I'm not sure.
Like a front side?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's a classic. It's a classic
yeah.
for sure, but don't remember like exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a big old poster of Kelly Slater. And when I was about 8 to 9 years old, I got sponsored by Hang Loose, which is a huge brand in Brazil. And Fabio Gouveia is the main guy, you know. And I really always looked up to him and always watched him surfing. And I feel like he helped me a lot by making myself calm on a surfboard. I love the way he tucks his back knee, and it's like really similar to Tom Curran, which I think he says that he looked up to Tom Curran a lot. And it really inspires me, you know, inspired me. And also I watched Trilogy, Snapped 2 at the time, a lot. Modern Collective was just coming out. I think Stranger Than Fiction too. Those are my favorite movies that I would play and repeat, you know, like play a lot. And watching those waves really had me like, whoa, I wonder how it is to surf a wave like that, you know, because in Brazil, and especially where I live, we don't have reefs, we don't have perfect waves, you know. It's like average beach breaks, it gets good sometimes, but most of the time it's like windy and not that good. But it's all about surfing. I think if you're out there in the water, it doesn't really matter how the waves are.
Who are the other pros from the area?
Adriano de Souza is from where I live. Also, Caio Belli, Jesse Mendes, a bunch of others that don't really compete anymore. Chinguinha, a bunch of names that if I say you won't even know.
Yeah, but a lot of examples of people who've made it to the world level.
Yeah, exactly. Jorge Olivença is one of them too. Paulo Matos, his brothers. Yeah, a few.
What did your parents do for work?
My dad, he deals with construction.
Okay.
So he's a painter. He's a, how would you say, a man for every
contractor?
No.
Or like oversees the job? And
it's like a saying that you guys have here. I just went blank and I forgot. But he's a man of all jobs.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Yep. Yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah.
He does whatever.
Good. Yeah. And so he supported your surfing?
Yeah,
okay. For
sure. Yeah, he surfs since he's young too.
It's the exact opposite here, largely, where surfing is counterculture. Like idea, the stereotype of surfing is that you don't work and that you just want to get away from actual going to school and all that stuff. And you just want to hang out at the beach all day. So you don't see a lot of fathers who support the kids surf unless they're going to be a professional surfer, I suppose, you know, like the NSSA dads and that sort of thing. So it's good to hear that he saw that as an opportunity for you to succeed in life.
I would say that he just wanted me to be happy.
Good.
He didn't.
That's a great father.
Yeah, he didn't see it as an opportunity like that. I don't think. He always would say, "Hey, remember, just have fun." You know, like you're not. He never forced me to surf or to get out there. Okay. It was always my will, me wanting
your
to
desire,
do it, you know. Yeah. And yeah, I think I would say that, but can't change the past. But if I had him on every contest, it would be different.
In which way?
Like to calm me down and not put that pressure that, you know, like sponsors and all of that put. Would be way more relaxed, and a bunch of contests that he was, I won.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. And that felt good.
Yeah. You talked about that first sponsorship with Hang Loose. What did they expect of you?
They were letting me be. Like, they wanted me to just compete. And
so they wanted you to compete, though?
Yeah, exactly. I was young, but they wanted me to travel. They put me on a lot of trips. They were the ones that helped me get my family out of the community. So at 11 years old, I was paying my bill, like my house bills.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the one that was paying for rent, you know, through my sponsor. And like I said, if it wasn't for surfing, I don't know.
Did you feel pressure?
No,
by doing that?
Not at that time. I didn't. Later on, I did, because I knew I had to have results. Like, not Hang Loose, but other sponsors were like, if you don't get results, you're not gonna have sponsors anymore, and you know, you're gonna get kicked out and stuff like that. But it is what it is. I did go through some time that I barely had money to pay the bills. But it's how life is, ups and downs, you know, like in everything. I feel like if you have perseverance, and you dream big, you know, like you work for it, it happens. Like, there's no way you're doing the right thing, something good won't happen to you, you know, like. That's how I feel, and that's how I roll.
Great. Keep it up. Keep that perseverance. There's a lot of people get derailed on the path, but I agree with you. Perseverance is key. Just stay on track.
Yeah, of course.
So you were 11 years old. You have money coming in from surfing. You're paying the bills. Were you traveling internationally at that point?
Yeah, I did my first trip ever to Peru. It was, to begin with, we were doing like one international trip a year. Okay. So until I was like 13. Okay. And then I started traveling a lot, like when I was 14 and up. So my first trip ever was to Peru. I was 11 or 12. I was even going through some pictures the other day. It was really nice. Second trip ever was to El Salvador. And then at that trip, I got a board sponsor. I had one before. It was Thiago Bastos, but even before that, it was Hard Wave. He sponsored Adriano when he was a kid. So yeah, I even surfed on Adriano's little boards when he but he had a bunch of logos on it. Also Hang Loose, but other logos on it, and I will never forget that. It was sick. Yeah. To get Adriano's board and surf on it when I was like 8 or 9. Yeah. And then Thiago Bastos, which is called TBC in Rio, he would ship me boards, and always, at that time I was living at the community still. So hardly ever we had a big truck dropping stuff. So it was like a UPS, or not normal, like something like a delivery company. Not even UPS, because UPS is common. So it was like a big truck, blue truck. It said brass press, and I would always be so happy when I saw, like that truck. It was like twice a year. But it had my brand new boards, so I was like sick. And yeah, after that, and that year I went, like I was saying, I went to El Salvador. I got a brand new board sponsor, which was Shine Surfboards, and I stayed with them for like 11 years of my life. I competed, I traveled, and I remember getting those first board. It was like a 5.0, a 5.2, and a 5.4.
Wow. Tiny.
To go, and even a 5.6, to go on a trip to El Salvador. And yeah, it was a sick trip. It was a group of friends, little kids, but also good surfers that some made it out, like Lucas Silveira, Luan Wood still competes, but in Brazil. Sidney Guimarães, Leonardo Guimarães. Some group of friends, and my coach, which is Paulo Kiji. He was the one that helped me my whole career, and he still does. What else?
Was it for a surf contest, or was it just a photo trip?
It was just a training trip,
Gotcha.
First, surfing perfect waves for like the second time ever.
Gotcha. When did you get an opportunity to kind of, from an international surf brand, to kind of promote you on a larger scale? How old were you?
I was 17 to 18.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because of your contest results, or was it because of your free surf ability?
I think contest.
Okay.
Maybe or surfing. I think a group of things. To be honest, it was Billabong at the time.
And what year would that have been?
2015.
Okay. And what were their expectations of you? Did they want you to compete? Was there anything in the contract, goals that you had to meet, or anything like that?
Yeah. So the year before, 2014, I was sponsored by Hang Loose and Red Bull, and that helped me travel even more. But yeah, 2015 is when I got sponsored by Billabong, and yeah, there were clauses on the contract that if I made it to the CT, I would get double, and that I had to get results and stuff like that, and do photo shoot, go places with them to shoot and stuff.
Did you want to travel? I mean, was it your goal to be on the CT?
Yeah.
Okay.
My goal.
So this is a great opportunity, though.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the opportunity on Hang Loose though. I was traveling worldwide.
Okay.
Doing the QS. I would travel, stay more away from home than at home when I was 14, 15. I was also traveling Brazil-wide, to do Brazilian contests. Some of the contests my dad would drive.
Oh, wow.
Long distance, 16 hours away with me. And David Silva was, he is still, but he was a really good friend at that time that we would travel together, me, my dad, and his dad, and him, to contests. And I remember this one, we went all the way to south of Brazil. It was 16-hour drive. My dad did not want anybody to drive, so he drove the whole way.
That's a dad move.
Yeah, it was so funny. And yeah, I had great experiences, trips, memories that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Is there a career path, or was there for you to be just a free surfer?
No, but I always had it in mind. If contests don't go, my way or winning, I just want to surf. And when the opportunity to be part of Album Surfboards came up, I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
I had nothing at the time, and I was just working to do the QS, which I saw it would be easier for me to be in USA, make USA money instead of making reais, which is like 5 times less. You know, like $1 is 5 reais, and if I want $1, I have to have 5 reais. So
Yeah.
imagine 5,000 reais is 1,000,
Yeah.
and that really doesn't like even buy a international flight ticket.
Right.
So I came here with my wife Johnny and stayed with her and her mom in Palm Springs for like about 6 months. But even before that, I got deported.
No way.
Because Johnny, she went to Brazil and she lived with me for a while. So for her to be able to stay there, we had to get married, which was really young, at like 22 or 23. She'll kill me with this. She says this, that I don't know exactly what age I was.
You had a lot going on.
Yeah. So yeah, she stayed there for like 2 years, I would say. And we had to get married for her to be able to stay there.
Sure.
Just as if any other foreign people. So yeah, her document came out like super quick. And it was at the time with the COVID, when COVID happened and all that. And so yeah, she got her document super quick. She stayed there, and then we were like, okay, COVID is done. Not done, but it was like calming down. And she was like, I want to be with my family, you know, like I want to be with my mom, my auntie. And I was like, all right, let's go. But I knew it would be a hustle and it would be hard. So we got all the documents ready, and she spoke to the CBP people. She said that they all confirmed. Even when we got in the travel day, we got into the airport in Guarulhos, São Paulo. And then there were CBP officers there, and they confirmed that I was good to go with all the documents I had. And then we flew into Texas, and that's when I didn't see her for 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
They said, yeah, just at the kiosk, they say for her to go, and then for me to stay and do some other things like fingerprints, some questions and stuff. And they were like, yeah, we'll see her in 5 minutes. Did not see her for like 5 months.
And did they put you on a plane and send you back to Brazil?
Yeah, they kept me in a room like without a phone, or even shoelaces. They take out shoelaces and all that shit. Like, it's insane.
Did they think you were a threat?
They thought that my marriage was a scam.
Okay.
They said that it was a 90-day fiancé thing.
Got it.
Which, not really, because I'm being with her for 8 years now.
And she lived in Brazil.
Yeah, and she lived in Brazil. She had her document. But yeah, I don't know. It was weird. And then I went back home. I stayed home for a while, and it was the longest time I stayed at home before I started traveling when I was a kid. So I stayed home for like 2 years straight. I even traveled around Brazil. Went to Matheus Zerdi's place and stayed for like a month, just so I could surf different waves and stuff. And also at COVID, when COVID happened, where I lived, they weren't allowing us to surf, which a lot of other places too. But there was weird because people were getting arrested for going surfing and stuff. Crazy. So where Matheus Zerdi lives, that wasn't happening.
Okay. So
I went there and surfed with him for a while. So yeah, I got deported, and I was like, you know, shit happens. I would just stay here and enjoy home, enjoy my family, and wait until I'm able to go. And I saw some opportunities here, and even right before, which is funny, people think it's a lie and all, but me and my friends were all really big fans of the different boards, like twin fins and all. And Album was one we looked up, and right before that day I left Brazil, I was like, the last time, so I've been here for like almost a year now, and I told him, hey, I'm gonna make I'm gonna at least have a album board for us to surf.
You told who?
A friend of mine called Dario Costa.
Okay.
He's like a master chef, Brazil-wide famous, even worldwide famous. Is huge, and he also surfs. And we met in around 2015, and we always would surf together. And one of the trips I did with him was to Mexico, and I didn't have a main sponsor anymore. I got dropped from my last sponsor, and I blew out my last few bucks I had to go on a free surf trip instead of going on a contest trip. I was like, whatever. It was just, I'd rather go have fun than travel to the other side of the world and lose first round. So I'll just go have fun with my friends and surf perfect waves, because I don't know when I will be able to do that next. So I went there, and he had a twin fin. I went blank on the brand now, but I think it's 70 surfboards. Yeah, 70 surfboards. And he had a twin fin, a 5.7, that he was surfing on a type of fins, keels. And I was like, come on, you got to put uprights on this thing. And I put uprights on it, and I surfed on it. I felt amazing. Even before the trip, I was like, make sure you bring that board. So yeah, he brought the board, and I had such a fun surf on it. And I saw not opportunity. I was like, I want to do this forever. I just want to surf on fun boards and perfect waves, instead of putting on a jersey and feeling that pressure. Because at that my last few years competing, I had a lot of pressure because I didn't have a sponsor anymore, and I was blowing out the less savings I had for my family to pay the bills and stuff. And it was even more frustrating because I would travel to the other side of the world and get bit by 0.001 or 0.010, like small, very small points that would make a huge difference for me, because I would make more money to bring back and pay the bills and support my family. And not saying that my dad doesn't do that, but he doesn't have enough,
right?
Yeah,
you have a earning potential that nobody else has.
Exactly. And yeah, it was really hard on me. I went through depression. I was really sad at the moment, but also had the support of my family, which was really relieving. And my wife, they were really calming me down and putting me to the right path.
Was there any conversation that you could have had with the sponsor to say, hey, I no longer am passionate about competing, and I'd rather just go on surf trips and, provide content, essentially? Or did you have that conversation? Were they not interested in that?
No, it was just a bye-bye.
Okay. Because they expected you to win contests.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
I wasn't doing that good. But also, yeah, I think COVID happened, and no, it was even before COVID. What am I saying? It was like a year before COVID. So that all happened into early 2019, I think.
Okay. So
I just received a letter on at my house, and an email saying that I no longer would be sponsored by that brand, and I was like, it was really heartbreaking for me.
Absolutely.
Made me really think about not even competing anymore, but I also had a couple co-sponsors that also wanted me to keep competing, and they supported me, but not, in a way that I could travel and not think about using my backup money.
Yeah. So you think that your losing heats was directly tied to the amount of pressure that you felt to win those heats?
Yeah. But also nothing that I could do, when you're competing, you deal with Mother Nature. And I knew I had the surfing to make heats, but I also didn't want to fake my surfing. I never will change my surfing because of the judges.
Right.
You know, like I don't like the faking that turn was hard when it was a turn that I did in my way, you know, like what I think surfing is so weird about. People have to surf the way the judges want to, not the way they want to, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, you know. I don't think it's good.
Competitive professional surfing, some people are obsessed with it and it is their whole life. But if you look at surfing globally, it's a tiny, tiny fraction of what surfing is.
Yeah.
You know, and to your point, maybe you can't make a living off of all of these other ways to surf. You have to have a job and then you can just surf for fun. But I agree with you that it's kind of absurd to think that you have to surf to a criteria.
Exactly. And his style isn't even there.
Style's not accounted for at all.
Style isn't even there on that criteria,
right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think Ethan Ewing should have made a lot of more heats. You know, he won a contest finally.
Yeah.
And he did. I'm so glad that he did. And he showed so much style and great surfing to the world. He was able to put heats together and stuff, but I don't think head snaps wins great style.
Yeah.
And clean surfing on the rail. But the judges do.
Let's talk about style a little bit. Do you think style can be learned?
Yeah, of course.
You think?
Yeah, my style was super ugly when I was a kid.
It?
Yeah. I think I'm getting to the point that I like it now.
What changed? Or obviously contest surfing versus not, but what did you do? Did you watch other surfing? Do you actively think about where to put your hands? How do you adjust your style?
Yeah, for sure. My coach, Paulo Kiji, helped me a lot by doing videos reviews.
Okay.
You know, I was surfing like with my arm up here. When I was a kid, I was like, you know. But also surfing perfect waves helped a lot. You know, surfing good waves, you have the time to think, and an long open face for you to calm down, bottom turn, you know, do a turn and stuff. And also different boards. I surfed on different boards my whole life. Ever since I got that sponsor when I was a kid, I was always curious too on how a twin fin would surf, or how a single fin would surf, or how you know. And also I surfed on my dad's board a lot, which was way bigger, and I had to calm down. I had to chill, you know. But yeah, the surfing better waves helps a lot, and watching yourself surf, having that person tell you what to do, and also surf movies. I watched Trilogy. Can't even count how many times I watched Trilogy or Snap 2 or Modern Collective, a bunch of other movies, which is what gets you excited to go surf. And that's what I do today, and I'm really glad I sometimes receive messages saying, hey, you're ripping, keep going. Like, I love watching you surf, and that's even better than winning a contest to me.
Really?
You know, like, that's huge. I have that feeling is awesome, and I'm really glad, and I'm in a good headspace right now and enjoying surfing. I was telling my friends the other day, I have that same feeling I had when I was 5, 6 years old, when I was learning how to surf.
When there was no pressure.
Exactly. And I love it.
Whose style do you admire?
I will always say that I make my own hero. Like, I watch all the surfers. Like, all the CT surfers, even a bunch of free surfers. Can't wait to go on a trip with Usher Pacey.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, Kelly, Andy, that sadly died. Joe, Nick, Fabio Gouveia for sure. Tom Curran, Tom Carroll, Potts. So many. So many that I look up and I admire their style, and I try to make my own, of course. But they inspire me a lot.
Yeah.
And still inspire.
It's good advice for anybody listening. You kept referencing just slowing down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good advice for anybody who surfs.
Yeah, of course. And not only, in surfing, in life too. It will never be what you want to your life, you know. It's what it has to be. And you can't change your life you can, but you can't force it. It has to be naturally, you know. I was forcing my way into the CT and it never happened.
Yeah.
And I had a second thought in mind that I always thought about being a free surfer, and now I'm here, you know.
Well, explain how that opportunity presented itself. You said you made it back to America. You're living in Palm Springs. For listeners who don't live in Southern California, Palm Springs is the desert.
Yes, exactly.
It's 2 hours from the ocean.
Yeah, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
And there's a couple of wave pools out there now.
Not yet.
Well, they're not open yet, but they are building them.
Yeah.
I've surfed one of them, but they're not open. At any rate, you're 2.5 hours from the ocean. So were you sponsorless when you were living in the desert?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sponsorless. Your competitive career is gone. How did these new opportunities present themselves?
So my competitive career wasn't really gone. I was really thinking about my next contest when I would compete again.
What were you doing for work?
I was working with my wife's uncle at his catering company.
Oh, okay.
So working at high-end parties.
Mm-hmm.
And when I made it back, I was able to work. So because I have a green card now, and I worked at a bunch of different jobs, but all serving as a server. Because Johnny, my wife, serves, and I see that she makes great money doing it, and I tried doing it, and it worked, and I made some money to. We're looking forward to like build up some money because I really barely had any money when I was living in Brazil.
Yeah.
For the past few years, one or 2 years, where I had to use my savings from my last sponsorship because I also blowing money going on contests, and you know, so I had that vision of me coming here and working and traveling around America doing the regionals.
Oh, okay.
And maybe possibly get a sponsor again and get back on track on competing. But I didn't know how to get into free surfing. And all of a sudden I received a message from Album saying, "Hey, would you like to stop by and have a little talk, and you know, like we can talk about you riding for us and how that would work." And right off the bat, they said you won't be able to compete anymore. I was like, oh shit, it's a big deal, you know, like.
That was part of their stipulation was if you work with us, you can't compete?
Yeah, like they were like, we don't appreciate competing. We don't really care about competing, so you won't even need to compete.
Okay, got it.
You know, like not that you can't compete. Like, you don't need to.
We don't care.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah. That's all I dreamed and wanted my whole life.
It fit right with where your mind was going anyway.
Exactly. And it's crazy how things work. I always look back my whole entire life and I play a little movie. And it's crazy how I was like, you know, finding my way and competing, traveling the world, meeting new people. And now I'm here in America. I don't want to live here forever. I don't feel home. I don't feel like home. People that I met make me feel that way, but I don't feel like home.
Yeah,
home is where my family is and where my friends are, real friends, and I want to go back and forth maybe because my wife is from here, so I can't also force her to live there.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I am gladly living my dream.
Well,
I always did, of course, my dream. Sorry,
but the dream changed.
Yeah, I don't want to get that wrong. My dream was always to live off of surfing.
Yeah,
no matter what. And my only opportunity when I was growing up was to be a competitor.
Yeah,
and now things changed. Yeah.
So you connect with Album. Presumably, they give you a couple of boards to try. And how did that feel? What was that experience?
So, first time I ever came to the shop, when he plays that,
the light shines down.
Yeah, I even remember exactly how it happened. I went to open the door, and the door was like kind of stuck. I was like, "Oh shit!" So the boys were like, Hunter and Chris were working that day, and they were like, "Just push." I was like, I pushed and it felt like I was gonna break the door. I was like, "Oh shit, it's hard to get in, huh?" And literally, it's hard to be out part of Album, and
yeah, it's a small team.
Inside joke there. And so it was like 4:30 in the afternoon. I was chatting with Mike for 30 minutes, and he grabbed a board, a client board, I think, out of the rack, and he was like, "I think this one fits you." And it was used, but it was barely surfed on, brand new board. So he was like, "Yeah, try this board tomorrow." And I looked at my watch. I was like, "No way, I'm going to surf right now." So he grabbed a set of fins off Matt's desk and gave me the board. And he was like, "Yeah, so then get out there, go surf." I was like, "Hell yeah." I went straight to Lowers, stopped at the Carl's Jr. parking lot, and called a friend that lives really close by. And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He was like, I'm exactly like at the moment in my car, parking at my garage, but he lives like 2 minutes away from Carl's Jr. So I was like, "Can you drop me off at Lowers, at the Lowers drop off?" And he was like, yeah, for sure." So it was me and Hebert, a friend of mine. So we put the boards on the back of his truck. He drove there. We surfed. It was like it was so nice to surf on a board, Album board, and have that feeling, like chilling. That was something I would do for the rest of my life. Just chill and surf and enjoy. And I had I would say my best friend, Herbert Moreno, that day, and we had a blast. It was like tiny, but the waves are fun and beautiful sunset. And it was like a blessing to me. And so we walk up, and my friend gives me a ride again. We put the boards exactly the way he went, back on the back of the truck. And I guess you can tell what's gonna happen from now.
I was hoping it wasn't going that way.
So yeah, my friend starts driving on the freeway. It's like literally one exit.
Yeah.
Doors drop off to Carl's Jr. where my car was.
Yeah.
He drives, and I'm also telling him about the board, having that post surf talk with my friend and my other friend Yufu. And all of a sudden, we look back, and my friend's surfboard is like this, like almost flying out, and the Album board had already flown. So we got out of the car. Hebert falls because there was a little thing. He falls on his face. It was so funny, but at the same time, so like I was so nervous. I was
Yeah,
like,
of
oh
course.
shit, I lost a brand new album board.
This is your new opportunity with your new employer.
But I guess when it goes that way, it's like, oh, it's supposed to happen, like best way to start off.
Yeah.
I would say. Best, worst way to start off.
It's a story. It's a good story.
Exactly. It was crazy. And then,
So did you find the board?
no.
Crazy.
The board's still missing. If you're a listener, you're out there, there's a missing board. It's a Twinsman. I don't remember exactly what size, but I think it was like 5'10". Twinsman, Asher Pacey fins, the tie-dye red fins, which was matte. And so I called Mike. I was like, hey, Mike, the board was amazing, dude. Like, seriously, it wasn't even my size, but I had a blast on it. But there is one thing that happened, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. We got on the freeway, and the board flew out of the back of the truck. And yeah, we couldn't find the board. And he was like, oh my God. Mike was so worried about the fins, not about the board.
Yeah, I could imagine that, actually.
He was like, bro, it's Matt. Those were Matt's fins, and we're not going to get those for a while. I was like, what about the board? He was like, no worries. Shit happened. It happened before. I'll tell you a bunch of stories of that happening. And he did. It was crazy. But yeah, the board is still missing. Never found the board.
That's crazy. Where could it possibly go?
I honestly think somebody behind us saw the board flying away and they grabbed it right away.
I mean,
and left.
Like you said, that's one exit. There's a quarter of a mile. You think by the time you pulled over, you would have seen them pulling over too to grab the board or something.
Oh, it was at night already.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, yeah, like we left the beach. The sunset was already going down. It was like nighttime.
Gotcha.
And then me and my friend Hebert walked on the side of the freeway at night. A bunch of big rigs honking. Sketchiest thing ever.
Totally.
Trying to find the board and we couldn't find it. Next morning, first thing in the morning, me and him again, walked on the side of the road, walked on the bushes over there. We found like an old longboard, beat up longboard, but we did not find the album board that I lost.
What a bummer.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So obviously things go well with Album and you guys develop a relationship. And actually, firstly, did Matt reach out to you or Album reach out to you just because they saw Instagram clips of you? Was that why they DM'd you?
So Mike said that he watches me surf since I was 13, 14 years old.
Okay.
Which is when I lived with the Marshalls for a while.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I lived with Jake Marshall and his family for, I don't even know how long. Every time I would come here, I would stay with them.
Gotcha.
And then there was this one time I stayed here for like 5 months, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, they really, I call them my family here. And his mom, my mom,
Yeah.
And they're his brothers, Nick and Connor. And so, yeah, Mike said that he saw me surfing lowers this one time so Jake was out there, Griffin was out there, and him and his friend, they were like, oh, this guy has good potential. So I guess he let me do my thing for a few years, and now that he saw the opportunity for me to ride for Album, that he works for Album too, and he invited me in, and all of a sudden everything has been happening.
Good.
A bunch of my old sponsor that kicked me out reached out to me saying that they wanted to have me back in the brand and stuff. But a few other sponsor opportunities, big brands too. And when I saw that Banks offered to, I was like, oh my God, I love this clothes. I love the way they have their brand. It's like simple and looks good. And I picture myself riding for them. And here I am.
So
Writing for album, June Shine, pedal bike, Zion wetsuits. I had to keep my co-sponsors from Brazil because I love the people and I love representing them, which is Praia Beer, a beer company, Jiboa Açaí, an acai brand, and Full Wax, for sure. Full Wax is my favorite.
absolutely.
And yeah, now I rely on those people, and I'm glad and happy to say that they are supporting me and having my back. They are making my dream come true, and I'm really thankful.
When you received all that interest and those offers from big brands, was it because you started working with Album and Album had put out videos of you and your profile was a little bit more elevated?
For sure.
So they saw all that and then they were like, hey, with the one sponsorship that you said dropped you previously, when they reached out to you, how did you respond to them? Did you respond to them?
Yeah, I had a person take care of my things.
Do you have management?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I told them, yeah, I would gladly work for you guys again, but things are different now, you know.
Okay.
I'm not going to compete. They were like, yeah, we know.
But you just had other opportunities.
Yeah, I had other opportunities, and I don't know. It just felt better to work and be connected to some other people and brand. And yeah.
Good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Do you have a board model that you're working on with Album? I saw something here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we have one. Matt wanted to call Bom Dia. Bom Dia is good morning in Portuguese. And it's a Asim quad that is would say a vessel.
A vessel?
Yeah, it's like a board that is out of control.
Really?
It's so good, so fast, and it works really good in every condition. I went to Mexico, and that board felt amazing in barrel conditions, backside, front side. I have a lot of people asking me if asymmetrical boards work only one way. And I tell them, hey, it's not that way. I didn't even know, to be honest, before a few years back when I wasn't really paying attention to those. And yeah, the asymmetrical boards work every way. Just depends on what your stance is. So it's made for a regular footer or a goofy footer. But a lot of people don't know, and they ask when they see it, they're like, oh, how does it work going backside?
Right.
I'm like, it works really good. It works normally, you know?
Yeah.
And
What do you think the value of asymmetry is?
it really adapts to your surfing, you know? Like, going frontside, you don't put as much pressure as you put on or backside, or the opposite way. So it's certain made for backside when you're going backside, and when you're going frontside, it's going to work different, but really good still, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to work the same frontside and backside.
Right.
So when you go backside, it works really good, and when you go frontside, it works really good too.
Yeah.
But it's not the same, you know? Like, it has a little difference when you're going backside and when you're going frontside.
I'll explain it a little bit for listeners who haven't tried it. Essentially, if you look down at your foot, your toes, the stringer, let's say, goes right in the middle of your foot. So your foot's bisected by the stringer. The front half of your foot, your toes, are thin, and they have the ability to leverage, meaning pull up and push down. The back of your foot is heavy, it's thicker, and it really only has the ability to push, not so much pull. So it doesn't make sense to make the toe side of your board the same as the back, as your heel side of your board, because your foot has different abilities. So asymmetry, it designs that toe side of the board, you know, maybe thinner with different contours, different outline, and your heel side of your board maybe a little bit thicker, you know, a bit able to handle more of that weight. And so to your point, like you're saying, it doesn't matter whether you're going front side or back side. All that matters is that your toe side of your board is designed for the toe side of your foot.
Yeah.
And the heel side of your board is designed for the heel side of your foot.
Thank you for explaining it better.
So it might be that you're going front side and you're doing a bottom turn, but ultimately when you transition the board, you're using the heel side rail.
Pushing.
You're still going front side, but you're using the heel side rail. So that kind of effect translates to going back side and going bottom turn, and then
Yeah.
So it's designing the board for your foot, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah, I think it adapts to the human body better.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell, I don't know if this is public knowledge or we're allowed to talk about it, but can you tell the story behind that specific board's design before it came to you? Do you know it?
I don't even know if I should tell.
Okay.
I'll tell it anyways.
Let's tell it, and I'll ask Matt, and if he wants me to cut it, I'll cut it.
So this board was designed for Callie to try at the acid drop.
Yeah, the electric acid surfboard test.
Yeah, exactly.
So the backstory is Kelly was supposed to do that as their pilot, their test pilot,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
But Matt had designed a board for Kelly specifically for
Yeah, I
that.
think so. So Kelly tried the board, I think, at Haliva.
Oh, I didn't know that he actually surfed it.
Yeah, he had a great time on it, good session. And also Sebastian Williams tried the board, and he was going bananas on it too. But I was the one that got the board attached to under my name, and the one that represents that board now.
Is it even available yet?
Yeah, it just became available.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm really stoked on that board. And also, I think different boards are, of course, good for every in each condition. And I have a little quiver going on now, and I'm having so much fun on every board. Like, I see the condition like, oh, it's small, so graveler models, like will go good. Or when it's bigger, so cruisy board, like asymmetric. And I think it doesn't really matter how the waves are. It really matters what you have under your feet. And the reason why I'm having so much fun and I feel like a little kid again is that I'm trying a bunch of different boards, and it's giving me something to look forward and have fun, and then be curious about and work on something. Sorry about my English this whole time.
No, it's great actually.
I guess all of you know my English is my second language. Trying my best here.
No, you're doing great. What are your ambitions now for your current career? Do you have travel scheduled? What do you want to do?
I just want to enjoy surfing and have fun. I don't really have ambitions. I just want to chill and enjoy surfing, my new way of showing that we don't need to put on a jersey and try to be better than the other person,
Does it help if you travel the world and go on photo trips to do
Yeah,
that?
of course. It's really good. But what I'm saying is people, even our lowers, you're not doing a heat against anybody. You don't need to paddle battle to, go around and stuff like that. It's just enjoy and have fun. People are trying to be better than each other all day, every day. When trying to prove stuff, I just want to be myself and chill.
Yeah.
I don't want to be compared. I cut my hair because it was being compared to so many other surfers.
Really?
And other people that I don't really want that. I want to be me. I want to be Victor.
There's more people who have a bald head than people who have long hair.
Exactly.
Now you're going to get compared to Kelly Slater. And
yeah, no, but not all of them have dark skin and have long hair. You know?
What do your sponsors expect of you? I mean, when you were competing, they had expectations. I would imagine now there's still an expectation for you to maintain a social profile or to post a certain number of times. What do they expect?
Expect just me to be me. Just be me myself. And
if you deleted Instagram, would
I
they be
wouldn't
okay with
mind.
that?
Yeah.
Would they be okay with that though?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think they have their Instagram, so they would promote me on their Instagram. So it doesn't really matter if I have Instagram or not, which I wish they would say, hey, they don't even need Instagram anymore.
Do you feel like it's a burden?
Yeah. Always feels good when I go to Indo and let go of my phone and don't even go on social media.
Yeah.
I feel like social media is good but bad at the same time, and a lot of the times people are just talking shit about other people, trying to hide behind their phone, a bunch of fake profiles saying a bunch of shit,
Yeah.
And it's just weird. I don't know.
What surf media do you follow nowadays? You talked about when you were growing up, the videos that you used to watch. What do you pay attention to nowadays?
I don't really pay attention to surf media websites or anything like that. I follow the surfers and what they do. I try to only see surfing on Instagram, but it's hard. People are showing too much of their lives, and I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I wish we had more surf movies coming out instead of Insta clips.
Well, the only way to find surf movies is to go to go to surf websites at this point. I mean, Stab will post movies.
Yeah.
So that's where I guess they'd be advertised on Instagram first, so you can learn about it there.
I do go on YouTube and search the movies that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
The old movies. A lot more than I go on Stab or Surfline or all those
Gotcha.
websites. I don't know. There's something about watching a real long movie that is a much more value to me.
Do you think you'll ever reconsider competitive surfing?
It would be fun to surf on the Bongia board and maybe put a few heats together, but only if the waves are good.
Where would you want to compete?
I don't want
what venue or?
I don't want to depend on a tiny 2-footer come to me and me needing a 4 something,
So where would you go, or what event?
I was thinking and maybe go surf events in Indonesia or something. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be insane.
That would be insane.
Do you have any upcoming trips scheduled?
Yeah, I do have one with Wave Garden. They want me to go test their waves in South Korea and Australia. And maybe I was planning on going to Indonesia right after that. And since I'm like on the other side of the globe, just go and catch some waves and come back.
Yeah, plenty to do in Australia beyond the Wave Garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
could
sure.
do
But I
tons
was
of surfing.
Yeah, totally. I was thinking going to Indonesia right after that, though, and enjoy those waves.
When would that be?
That'll be next month, I think.
Oh, good.
Not next month, but the other month.
October.
Yeah, October. Sorry.
Okay. Final question is, what was the last surfboard that you rode?
Very last was Symphony, the little soap.
Yeah.
It's a 5.0 quad. I think it's 20 inches wide.
Wow.
Little quad, super fun board. So the waves were like small, so I went in a graveler model, like I said, and there's no wrong board. I mean, there's no bad waves when you have the right boards.
It's a Mickey Munoz quote.
Yeah.
It is. He has a book. He called the book No Bad Waves.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the opening quote, is something
I didn't even know.
Yeah, you nailed it. It was something to that effect of like, there's no such thing as a bad wave, just the wrong equipment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been trying to say.
Good. Well, you have the right board sponsor to find the right equipment. So
yeah, I'm stoked. Like I said, it's a dream come true to ride for album. I'll finally be able to go back to Brazil to my friend Dario Costa and have more than one board as I promised. I promised him at least we're going to have one to trade and surf on. But now I'm going to have a quiver and we're going to have a blast and maybe go on a trip together. It's so easy to go on trips from here. especially one of my favorite places in the world, down in Mexico, where all those long rides are. But I also want to surf long laps. I still have to mark and check off my dream book, Desert Point, and I really want to surf there and a bunch of others. I just want to travel the world and have fun and surf.
Good. I've followed your career since you were young. Like I remember seeing you show up for the U.S. Open and stuff.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so I was aware of you, and I've always watched and admired your surfing back in those days. And when you started working with Album, Mike mentioned that. He's like, yeah, you know that Victor Bernardo? And I'm like, yeah, I totally remember him. He goes, dude, you should see him surf nowadays. And we're getting a few boards for him. So I was really eager to see you guys working together. And when I saw the first couple of clips, I was like, holy cow, dude, you look like a totally new surfer.
Thank you.
From what I used to see, and in the best possible way. So congratulations on all the success and on continuing the dream.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This board's totally changed my way of surfing, but also not having that pressure on my shoulders of making heats and making it happen to make money and be able to support my family. You know, like I'm totally free of pressure, and that really helps me just go out and enjoy instead of be worried about, am I going to be able to pay for the rest, you know, for the next pile of bills.
Right.
And support my family. And that's all I want. I just want to see my family in a way that they don't have to worry about that. But also, like, you know, we don't need much to be happy. All I need is a surfboard, and I'll be the happiest kid ever, you know.
Good for you.
But the world isn't that, you know, easy anymore, you know.
Well, society makes you feel like you need all those other things.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, is that you don't need all those other things. And when you're doing what you love, surfing, you're reminded that you don't need all those other things.
You got to do what you love. You got to love what you do. And that's it.
Awesome.
That's how life is. Just remember, you got to have fun. If you're having fun and enjoying that time, you're going to be happy. Yeah. You don't really need to prove anything to other people. You just be yourself. Just chill, you know?
Yeah, like you said, like take your time.
Exactly. Take your time.
Take your time.
Be yourself, chill, and, you know, things are going to be all good, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, there is a reason for that. There's always a reason for everything. And a lot of things went wrong. And, you know, not wrong, but the way that I didn't want to happen. Mm-hmm. But it actually worked out perfectly to for me to be where I am today.
Exactly.
And exactly what I dreamed and wished my whole life. And everything is happening, man. Everything is really happening, and I'm super stoked.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and
yeah,
see you guys around. Right. See you guys out in the lineup.